Hey everybody, what's going on? We are here with a reaction video today, and this popped up in my feed. I don't know if you guys can see the whole thumbnail, but I don't know how I'm supposed to not click on that thumbnail. That's a crazy thumbnail, and it's called A New Rock Bottom. It's a video from Ash, so we're gonna check it out. I think it went up 4 days ago, and I have time now to watch it. And you guys seem to enjoy this, and I really enjoy it. So I know that there's some people that don't like this, and that's okay. Don't click it. Don't watch it. But I really like this. This is really fun for me. It's fun for me to get to engage with the other creators like this, and it's fun to see the reactions. I have one queued up that I'm going to watch after this. It's Hell Hades reacting to my video with Wizard D. I watched Nub. Nub did like an hour. I think it was like an hour and a half long reaction to my video on Coleridge's video. I watched every second of it. I love it, man. I think it's so fun to hear other people's takes and have these conversations in a way where it's like it's kind of difficult. We can't all just jump in a call at any given moment, especially with all the different time zones, and talk about this stuff. And again, I think a lot of people really think it's interesting to hear us talk about it in this fashion. So I'm probably going to keep doing these. So, you know, that's okay. If it's not your thing, that's fine. I enjoy it though, and the other guys seem to enjoy it too. So let's jump in and see what exactly he's talking about here. I don't know what he's talking about. A new rock, but I mean, I assume it's in conjunction with the summon event thing that Coleridge was talking about, but I don't know if that's specifically what it's going to be. So I guess if it's the same exact topic, then I probably won't upload this. I'm not going to upload another video about the same exact thing, but I assume he's going to talk about some other stuff here, because like the description says things are getting bad. I assume it's more of a zoomed out conversation. And again, I really like Ash's take. One of these days, I'm sure Ash and I are going to actually link up for a collab. I'm certain it's going to happen one of these days. And we'll actually get to talk to each other. But for now, we're going to settle for this. All right, so let's see what,
hey guys,
what we got going on.
Shadow Legends, welcome to the video. Glad to have you all here with me today. Sending some love, some positive vibes your way if you need them out there today. And damn it, I need them out there today.
Every time I see Ash with that damn chain, it reminds me that I want to get a chain, and I don't have one yet. And that upsets me.
And guys, oh man, I hate to make another
I like the bracelets
angry
too, man.
video.
My boy
7 days after
today.
I made my last
I used to wear a lot more
video.
bracelets. I've got this one I wear all the time.
Or the previous episode was on I'm Beyond Disappointed, really narrowing in on Clan Siege now that it's been out for a while. And even if you don't care about Clan Siege, I recommend you watch that video. If you love Clan Siege, you hate Clan Siege, or again, you're apathetic to it, again, I would recommend, because it's not just Clan Siege, it's the fact, it's almost the hubris that Plarium displayed in responding to the community sentiment about Clan Siege like a politician. Like, we asked them a question, the community gave their feedback, and they responded answering different questions, addressing different issues, some of which players never even mentioned as an issue, but they ignored the actual questions, the actual main
He's in gold
of the
for
community.
live
and
arena.
It feels like, frankly,
that's such a time investment, I feel like.
as it can be, because
I don't know how much everyone else knows this. Ash does so much. I don't know how he's doing that. I don't know how he's in gold for live arena. He does so. He must never sleep. Ash must never sleep, dude.
Because this game, fundamentally, I love it, or I wouldn't upload on this damn channel.
Maybe he's got a driver for the account. I know that's a popular thing.
I love the game.
Maybe.
I love the community.
Not an accusation by any stretch. He certainly seems to know the game like someone who plays the game. He seems to know his account like someone who plays the game. So in no way is it an accusation, but it's just like, I don't even know the full extent of what all he does, but I know enough to be very confused about how he gets it all done. It's just crazy. Different topic. But
I love what I do, and I'm grateful for this little hobby of mine on the channel. It still feels like less
he's closing
and
in on
less
300,000 subs, dude. Holy shit. When did he have a huge bump lately? He must have had another huge surge or something. I'm gonna have to go look at Social Blade or whatever.
Caring and listening anymore, and I know
keeping distracted.
Some of you might chuckle and say, "Did they ever care and listen?" But frankly, it feels like everything's slowly moving in a bit of a more aggressive, and also condescending might be a big word here, or the wrong word choice, but it almost feels like, again, a level of hubris where half the things that people complain about, they don't even respond to. You know, a lot of developers, what they'll do is, for example, something unpopular will happen inside the game, and I'm going to talk about a few frustrations of mine recently. But something unpopular will happen, and then they'll just address it. Sometimes communication can go a long way, both in relationships, but also in a player-developer relationship. Even if the answer is going to be negative, even if the
Right.
answer isn't going to be what the player base wants to hear, oftentimes just talking about it, hey, we made this decision. Here's why. I know it's not going to be popular, but you know, this is why we made it, and we hear you, and we're committed to, you know, taking your feedback into consideration in the future. Even as whimsical and like eye roll cliche as that may be, it does actually help versus
It makes a huge difference, and that's what I was gonna say. I said this in another video too, but you can't. It is literally impossible to make everyone happy, especially in a mobile game player base. You just can't. They could tomorrow just put a sacred shard in everyone's inbox, and there would be a measurable percentage of the players that are mad about it because for whatever reasons they can come up with to be mad about it. You know what I mean? You just can't do anything that will make everyone happy. So you have to navigate that carefully, and you are going to get feedback. And Plarium has a content creator program where they work closely with their content creators, so they're getting direct feedback a lot of the time, and they obviously can't take and implement it all. Obviously, that would not be healthy for the game. At a certain point, you have to draw a line and go, look, we're the developer. We're going to do what we think is best for the game. So you're going to get a lot of feedback that you're not going to take. That's perfectly acceptable. Does that mean that you should take none of it? No, I don't think that you should always stand at the point of like we're the developer, we know better every single time. Because even in the early days of the content creator program, when there was only a handful of us, you're still talking, you know, dozens of years collectively of experience playing these games. So we know a little bit about what's going to be good and bad. So I think again, it's probably difficult to navigate. It's probably a hard line to toe, and couldn't fault them for not towing it correctly 100% of the time. But it does seem like they have very little interest in like what anybody actually wants and what anybody actually thinks. It seems to be uh, very solely about the revenue, and some people don't have a problem with that. Some people will make the argument, well, they're a business and they're trying to make money, and that's the way it is. And I agree. And yeah, they're a casino company and blah, 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 all the same old talking points. But like, what's going to come with that is this sentiment. What's going to come with that is these conversations from your players and your big content creators. And it's not going to help the tone. So you have to figure out a way to navigate it in a way where you're still going to do the things you think is best for the game, but also not come across like you couldn't care any less about what anybody thinks. You know what I mean? I get that it's tough to navigate. It just feels like they're not really interested in trying to navigate it well. And so here we are having these
just
conversations.
total radio silence. And that sucks because overall, it just feels lately, like even for Plarium, it feels lately like they're just moving in a more aggressive, even more aggressive direction, right? And I know you could argue, and in my last video, that we got a few comments, dozens of comments saying, dude, yet you're sitting here playing the game, yet you're sitting here spending in the game. And I
Such a
totally
tired
get that.
comment.
I totally do. But I guess ultimately I'm, you know, I'm in that spot where I love the game. Is that weird to say? I imagine most of you do too. I'm also simultaneously very, very disappointed. Even little things like the Ultra
It's
Souls.
such a tired comment because this idea that you can't have a criticism or be frustrated about something that you also enjoy, it's such a weird mindset. Every time I make a video that complains about raid in any way, there is guaranteed to be that comment. If you hate the game, why do you play it? And it's like, dude, you come on, come on, have a little bit of imagination. Like
Unity Soul Summon Pool.
we all have
I
to
just
deal with
like
that comment, I
everything's
reckon.
just so goddamn, excuse my French, but it's so feels extra predatory lately, guys. you know, they added the souls, they added the mythicals, and it just feels like, God, that's fine. I get it. I get that a game over time is gonna have to come up with, if they're not gonna add
Look at
7-star
that count.
artifacts or level
God,
100
that's
champions, there's gonna
crazy.
have
That's crazy. I can't even see any gold borders behind him. Jesus
to
Christ,
be
that's
ascension.
wild.
There's gonna have to be new dungeons to farm that ascension. There's
I
gonna have to
noticed
be
this
new
too. I
rare.
watched a Nubkeks video this morning. This is not related at all. I watched a Nubkeks video this morning. Just the champ screen looks like a different game because of all the different colored borders and like more in-game gear that like I certainly don't have enough of in my count to make a champ look like this. It's all purple stars. I feel like, are the borders a different color than usual? Let me look at that real quick. Why are the borders on his gear orange? Like dark orange. That's a different color. Maybe it's just the way the video is showing up. That's a different color orange than mine. So I don't know what that's about. I don't even know what that is. Like, that just looks like a different game. It's all red border champs. The gear looks all different. I know, same with Nubkick's video earlier. It's like, God, they're playing such a different game,
Of
dude.
champions after 5 years.
Who
totally
is this guy? I don't even know who this is. I've never seen this dude.
I get that they're going to add to the end game, not the
This is his
beginning of
raid channel,
Shadow
right?
Legends, but they're ignoring a lot of potential players and growth opportunities along the way for two reasons. Number one is there's too much. They're throwing way too much at new players. I've mentioned this before, but this little drop-down menu here, it's like, think of a new player in this game. How goddamn confusing it's gonna be. You're like, what the heck is all this stuff? Sometimes I need energy, sometimes I need keys, sometimes I need keys and energy. It's not intuitive what you're doing at any given point. There's not a lot of catch-up mechanics in this game to help you, someone who's starting out right now, compete with someone who's been playing for 3, 4, 5 years, forget even spending, just playing that long, right?
Sure.
So for new players, it can be daunting, right? And then for old players, whether you're a spender or free to play, it's fine that they add all this stuff. It really is. I get it. I understand that. I understand it's a gotcha game. Gotcha. It's in the damn word of the genre. Like, gotcha. So I get it. But at the same time, wouldn't it be smart to strategically also give a bit more rewards to players along the way to make things like fusions easier, not harder? And I'm embarrassed, and this is not Plarium's fault, but like I said, I have a lot going on in real life, and I feel extra embarrassed because I still have the YouTube channel too, where I should actually be on top of these things. But they had a stupid update in the middle of a tournament, like before the end of it. I forget. I know some of you guys in the comments said the same thing. It kicked me offline. I missed 25 fragments, and now guess who doesn't have the fusion? I know I could have still gotten it had I been more vigilant and done every single one. But this fusion, Thor, out of everybody, oh man, I'm 25 fragments away. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, and it's all my fault. This one's not Plarium's fault, but it used to be back in the day. You make a mistake like this, hey, life happens, and you can't rearrange your entire schedule over optimizing a fusion.
Yep, we talked about that.
They used to actually have nice little catch-up things where you could win a tournament or win an event or place top 3 and get a few extra fragments and stuff like that. And it just used to feel so much different in terms of the predatory nature of everything in this game. So what is the recent big L that Plarium is taking right now?
And that's what we're saying. It's like that what he's feeling, that's by design. It's not a byproduct. It's not a byproduct of them thinking they're making good decisions for the health of the game. That's exactly by design that he feels like, damn it, and this wasn't even his fault. Apparently, I didn't know about the people getting kicked offline thing. But like that they want you to feel like, damn it, if I had just organized a little bit better, then I wouldn't miss out on this. That's what so that the next time it comes around, you'll be sure. You'll be setting alarms and you'll be rearranging your schedule, and you like that's a problem. That's what we're all talking about. That's what we don't want to be happening. You can still try to make money. You can still be a casino. You can still do all the stuff that you do. But like, holy shit, can you come up off of it just a little bit? Like Look at his account. Like we've been talking, look at his account. Look at the money he must be spending. Look at the time he must be spending. If he could, if something happened that kept him out of the fusion, holy shit, dude. Maybe there's a problem with the design of the fusion then. Like, you know what I mean?
First of all, will they even go in a different direction? I highly freaking doubt it.
Also,
right?
real quick, he said something about rewards and events and stuff earlier, and I think it was my free to succeed this morning, but it's the artifact enhancement right now, I think. And the last reward in the artifact enhancement is 50 void brews. It's the last reward where like usually the good thing is where, you know, and they put 50 void brews as the last reward in an artifact enhancement. What's going on? Who's doing this? Usually, if I get that far in an artifact enhancement to the last reward, I have to do a thing where I'm like, do I want it? Well, like whatever it is, do I want it? Is it if it's a red shard or a tome or whatever it may be at the end of an event? Usually, when I get that deep in an event, there's a little thing I have to do where I go, do I feel like grinding it out? If it's a champ training, it tends to be a red shard. I think lately it's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and grind out the red shard, I guess. 50 void brews? Who's going to flush a few more million silver down the toilet for 50 void brews? Who's making these decisions? Are they just like, I was going to say AI, but I feel like AI would do a better job of placing rewards in tournaments. I don't know what the hell that's about.
Even little things. Sorry, I'm on a rant today, guys. I am on one, but it feels insulting to the player base, like they just don't care. The player base isn't growing for Raid Shadow Legends, so you ought to take care of the players that are actually playing the game still. The audience that you do.
That's what I've been saying since the beginning. You should always be taking care of the players that play your game. Whatever other endeavors you're after, you know, all your new player acquisition things that you do, like do that's fine. But the players that are playing your game should also be important. And for as long as I can remember, that's been the topic of one of the conversations that we've all been having. Literally for as long as I can remember in this game is they seem to care the least about their long-term players. They seem to care the least about the players that are in the game every day, playing the game. The bulk of that, because obviously whales are doing that too, but the bulk of the people that are playing the game every day are not the whales. It's all the in-between, like I said in another video, between the new player and the whale. It's that whole demographic that's like, what about us? You know, they dribble out a few quality of life updates, and it feels like everybody wants to forget how long we've needed them. The quality of life stuff that they're adding into the game, it's nice to finally have it, for sure. But damn, it's been a long time. We've been waiting on some of the most basic stuff. Champ filters and the ability to search a champ by name and gear. Like, we waited so long for a gear sorter, I thought it was never coming. I was sure we waited long enough that it was never coming. And then we got it and it kind of sucked, and they've kind of upgraded it over time, but it still needs a little bit of work. We got auto level up and auto rank up, but it's so clunky. Give us more control. Like, why are you dribbling this stuff out half finished? So it's like, yeah, we're getting quality of life, but damn, you know what I mean? You've got hundreds of employees. Surely you could set aside 4 or 5 of them to work on quality of life stuff on a regular basis and make this game flow a little bit better as you continue to add big blocks of content and all these new gear sets and all these new things. Implement some stuff to make it a little bit easier to navigate and manage and sort and do it fully. Stop doing it so that you can just say it's in the game. Like, actually do it. Actually do a good job on it. Release some quality of life that's polished and done and doesn't need anything else. You know what I mean?
Keep them engaged, keep them happy, at least make them feel heard, at least. Things like, little things, like, I'm going to get to the point here. I apologize. I'm taking 20 minutes to get there, but like, I mean, I feel like a broken record. Add a way to get skill tomes in the game.
It's
add
so
a few
archaic.
levels of minnows, so we don't have to waste $1 billion. And I'm not even saying to make it cheaper. I'm just make it faster, right? You did it
Super
to the
rates.
Ascension, the potion keeps. Add a few levels. Why? No, they don't. Why don't they want to add levels? Why is there only 15? It's the only thing they haven't added anything to in the history of the game. Every other dungeon gets hard mode, gets extra 5 levels, whatever. Why nothing on Minnow? Because they want you to pay the 800 gems. That's why.
They want you
That's
to pay the
it.
gems,
That's the
or they
only
want you to
reason.
flush your
It's
energy down the
just
toilet so you
it's
don't have
just
it for other
greed.
stuff so that you get
And
some
I don't
gems
mind a
that
little
way.
bit of greed. I get it. They have to make money with a relatively small player base compared to some of these massive titles, especially given what I'm sure their marketing budget is in this game. But at the same time, once in a while, can you throw a bone? Once in a while, can you add like they've been doing great on quality of life lately?
Could you put something in an anniversary event for your players that have been here for a while? Something? Could you do something that's not a picture of cake? Anything? Anniversary skins? 7-day login anniversary skin for, I don't know, one of the champs everybody's guaranteed to have? Arbiter Sill, and one of the champs all your long-term players are going to have? Or will get? Arbiter Sill Visix, like, there's so much low-hanging fruit for anniversary events and stuff like this that they could just pluck and would not even cost them anything. And again, would probably persuade people to want to spend money during the anniversary event, but they're so bad at it. They're so bad at it that it's a joke. Their anniversary events especially have become such a joke. Like it's the YouTube rewind of the mobile gaming world. It is nothing more than a joke. It'll be interesting to see what they do this year, only in the sense that it's like, how big of a joke is it going to be this year? But I don't think anyone has high hopes for it. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. That's part of the sentiment that is this conversation is like, I don't know, expectations are so low, strictly due to Plarium's
and I praise them along the way.
lack of effort.
But once in a great while, can you just give the player base something they've been asking for years, and like a few extra minnow levels? You know, it's not much.
Can we get like, I don't know, periods of, for this 24 hours, minnows free? Like, you know what I mean? Something. A lot of other games do stuff like that. Summoners War used to weekly? How often was it? There were periods where, like, you'd get double XP from farming campaign, or a certain block of content would be open and it wouldn't cost energy for an hour or a certain amount of time. Like, can we get something like that? Just anything to make Minotaur more reasonable. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about too throughout the game, but like Minotaur, especially right now, since we're talking about it, bro, can it change? It's never changed since the game released.
You add something to the dungeon map. How about you consider it a dungeon in your events? Dungeon divers. Like, it's a dungeon. It's in the dungeon map.
Yeah.
It says dungeons. But when I dive, I get nothing from, Sand Devil or a Phantom Shogun.
And the fix to that is easy. Energy spent in dungeons instead of gear acquired. It's done. You're done. Congratulations. It's fixed. Now people can actually farm dungeons for dungeon divers. GG.
Iron Twins, energy and keys? That's a little unnecessary. How about one or the other?
Yeah.
And their latest, what's their latest? Saf from HH Gaming and Colred, they both have great videos really detailing what happened the last few days. Oh man, I am on one, but do you blame me, guys? It's frustrating when a game that you love so much and a community that you respect and are grateful to be a part of. And honestly, it's cool to cover video games on YouTube selfishly, personally, but it sucks when they make so many bad damn decisions. Events. This one.
And I think this is a good point to, like, when you because I have these moments too where he's just kind of bouncing them around the game, and it's almost like things are coming to him in the moment where he's like, oh yeah, and this is stupid, and this is stupid, and it all piles up to the point where, like, sometimes I think people think that I'm like inherently negative or being overly negative, but it's a culmination of the years of things like this piling up in the game. So it's like Plarium will do something good, and I tend to give them credit when they do something good, but maybe I'm not as enthusiastic about it as people think I should be. For example, the quality of life stuff that I just talked about that they've implemented. Some people are going to think that I'm just hating on them for criticizing the what I think is like incomplete quality of life that they've implemented, but it's contrasted by all of this other ridiculous stuff that just sits by the side and festers. You know what I mean? Like I haven't thought about Iron Twins in a while, but yeah, keys and energy for that is so stupid. It is nothing more than an energy stealing mechanic. It is the fact that Minotaur hasn't been updated, the fact that Iron Twins cost energy and another specific, it's so ridiculous. And you could start at the left side of this game and go to the right side of it, and just there's so much stuff like that to point out. And it's like, yeah, I guess they gave us auto level up, but like there is so much more that needs to be addressed that would be so easy to address and fix too. It's not like there are huge fundamental deep in the code problems with this game and every day I'm like, you got to fix this. It's not like that. It's real basic shit. Increase the energy cap. Stop charging us for energy for places that shouldn't be charging us energy. Catch some of the other game up with the rest of the game. Do something for Minotaur. It is crazy to still have to go in there and farm scrolls like that. It is. And like he said, everything else in the dungeon tab has been updated. Why not? Well, it's maybe because they just haven't thought about it. Maybe it's not nefarious, but it's hard to not assume that it is when they are clearly willing to be nefarious. And I think that's it. I have tried to be careful because one of the things I've gained from watching people react to my videos when I talk about this stuff is I want to be careful not to definitively attribute intent, right? I think Nubkex is particularly good about calling me out on that. And I don't know if it's noticeable, but it's impacted the way that I try to express how I feel about what Plarium's doing. I don't know for sure what their motives are, but I do have to use the information that's available to me. They are clearly willing to deliberately put you in a bad spot, right? This summon event that we've talked about on the tail end of the fusion is a pretty good example of that. They so obviously could have done that differently, and it seems it was so obvious to everyone else. Why was it not obvious to them? So I don't know what their intentions are, but like I have a lot of reasons that I think it's reasonable to believe that a lot of the negative shit that they do / don't do is intentional. So I guess I just wanted to make make that clear. But yeah, there's just to sum that point up, there's so much that needs doing that when there's a good thing that happens, it's like, yeah, this is good, and I appreciate it, and I want to see more of it. But can we talk about the mountain of easy to fix stuff that you have been ignoring for years at this point? You know what I mean?
Or actually, as a tournament, they're doing one of these again, guys. They're doing one of these. It makes a lot of sense, but probably players know better. They know why they're doing these things. Or like, hey, they just made us spend all of our resources for all these summoning events. We'll get to the extra summoning event in a moment. But now what do we have? Now we have a chance of outspending everybody to get our hands on an Odin Feyfather, an exclusive limited time champion. So now we have a champion chase tournament again, following the last two champion chase tournaments where we can spend against, heck, I'm a stupid whale. And I know there'll be a bigger whale, right? And it doesn't matter. Like, no one has shards left anyway, so it's going to be another big spend off. And again, I shouldn't be surprised. I know the game. Okay, let's talk about this one, guys. It's not just what they did with this event. It's how they did it. It's the Titan event. I don't really talk too much about these Titan events here on the channel. I haven't really mentioned a lot about the previous ones. They can be, I know some people hate them. They see the whole Titan events as being predatory in nature, but I guess you can make that argument about half the things in this damn game, if not more, 80, 90, 100% of things in this game. But the thing is, you get the split souls. I don't mind these events personally, but it's the way that they did it again. They made this whole thing, the last summoning event of the fusion, the one that we just were on, where we had the 50 fragments, the way that they came out and they said, hey, we're throwing you an additional summoning event for the fusion, yay! But what did they do? They snuck in the hammer points. They snuck in the hammer points to make it more difficult to get your 5-star soul for Thor, because everybody thought that this was going to be missing the hammer points and only attached to the fusion, because that's what they told us. They didn't say, hey guys, be prepared, there's going to be a big summoning event. Just a heads up, just some fairness, a level of fairness, right? Other games like Watcher, they show you not only the event, but all the corresponding events, how you win points or whatever in those events. So what they ended up doing was they made this additional summoning event. They said this is going to help players for the fusion, and then they attached the hammer points to it. They snuck them in. So now again, players used all.
And I want to emphasize, some people are saying, well, that's a good thing. I've seen a few people like defending that as though it's like bonus points or something. It's not bonus points. You can still miss, I think, 250. And to piggyback on the bullshit that was this fiasco, now there's a spider tournament that is just, for whatever reason, barbarian only. I don't know how many of you have a barbarian spider team. I sure as hell didn't. Why is that necessary? So I'll tell you why it's necessary from their perspective. Speculation. Because a lot of people are not going to have a high-level spider team that's all barbarians. Some people might not have, like, they might have Syl, you know what I mean? Syl and Loki, I guess, at this point. So sure, you could drop down and farm, you know, I don't know, one of the lower stages, and maybe it takes you a lot longer. But if you want to farm it at a higher level where it's not a complete flush of resources simply for the points, you're going to need kind of a deep roster, right? Why wasn't the Dragon tournament like this? Why wasn't the Fire Knight tournament like this? Why has nothing else in this been this way? Why all of a sudden was this necessary? Why could it not have just been a normal spider? Why do you want to box out another portion? You've already boxed out the people who didn't have and either can't afford or are unwilling to buy the shards. So now you're boxing out. Now some people may have taken the plunge and bought some shards to stay caught up in this bullshit, but they don't have barbarians for this, right? It's why? Why did you do it? Why couldn't it just be regular spider? That's so silly. It's so transparent. It just seems so deliberate of a way to box more people out of being able to do it. It is. I cannot come up with a reason that it needed to be barbarian only that makes any sense to me. I can't come up with a reason that's not negative. Just let people do spider and get these damn points and be done with this thing. Like, that's so silly. It just makes no sense, dude.
All their shards. Some of you guys may have been suspicious of this and saved your shards for the last event, so you lucked out, which is great. But most players used their shards, tried to do the fusion, you know, as soon as possible, tried to be fastidious about everything. Shout out to fastidious. And what do? They used all their shards, so now they're going to be capped out in the Titan event, right? Or they're going to have to spend more. Predatory is one thing. Being a pay-to-win gotcha game. We understand the game we're playing. But lack of communication and sneaky moves like this, it has to stop, or they're going to start losing money.
That's the thing. We all understand the game we're playing. We all understand the mobile game industry. None of us are caught off guard by any of these developers trying to make money. It's the sneaky shit. It's the weirdly sneaky, unnecessary shit that particularly pisses everybody off. That's
start losing their player base. And I don't want to see that happen because, frankly, I want to keep making videos on Raid Shadow Legends, you know? So I really hope they respond and change their ways and just communicate about these things. Give a little bit of a heads up, you know? It's either they're aloof or they're ignorant or they're just
hard to believe.
Don't care. They just don't care about, or they're apathetic to the community. And I don't know which one it is, but gosh, I hope things change. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching all the way till the end of this little rant video. I'll be back at you with another video tomorrow, but let me know how you feel and let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my points or frustrations in the comments below, guys. Who knows? Maybe I'm seeing things incorrectly. Maybe I am in my own echo chamber of hearing these complaints on a daily basis, and some of you guys see things, again, in a more positive light. I'd love to hear from you guys either way in the comments. Much love, and as always.
Yeah, good video, necessary video, like, and it's so, I think it's so important that a creator in the community of his size is calling this stuff out also, because it is a problem. Again, like we all know casino company, we all know mobile game, we all know gotcha, we all know all of that stuff, and we're all apparently okay with it. A lot of us have been playing this game and these games for a really long time, so we're familiar and okay with all of that. It's the manipulation and the sneakiness and the extra bonus steps that Plarium seems to take to make it really clear uh, how they feel and what their goals are. You know what I mean? It's yeah, isn't it funny how quickly it's almost like they could feel the sentiment starting to turn. You know, Nub did that poll not long before the summon event stuff started popping off, and it said, "What's your sentiment about raid?" And I think positive was the highest answer. It was the highest response in the poll. And it's almost like Plarium could feel that happening. Was like, no, no, ain't gonna be none of that. So it just it's just weird. It just seems like such strange behavior. And on one hand, it seems strange behavior, but on another hand, everybody's talking about it. Raid's buzzing. You know what I mean? There's a lot of content being made about it, and it's keeping relevance. So maybe there's something to the idea that they do this on purpose sometimes. Because again, it's just hard to imagine that they're making these types of mistakes this far in. That seems, it's just real hard to believe. Is it possible? Sure, of course. But man, it's hard to imagine that they're still making these kinds of mistakes so far in. So anyway, fun video. I always like listening to Ash talk about what's going on. Congrats on 300,000, dude. That's crazy. I swear last time I looked at his channel, he was at like 150 or something. I feel like he must have just had a huge spike, or I've just been doing other stuff and not paying as much attention lately. But either way, congrats on 300K, man. That's wild. And I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you didn't, well, then too bad. I don't know what to tell you. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all. Later.